Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun and talk about, well, how you can move to Mexico in 2026. Which is, well, that's the year that we're in. We're in 2026. I can't believe we're almost all the way through January already. Kind of crazy times, huh? All right, let me see if. All right, there we go. But anyways, shout out to everyone out there and welcome back to another show. And my apologies for being a little late today. Again, if you guys already been following my other channels, you guys know how busy I keep it around the house here and how busy I usually am on a day-to-day basis. So my apologies, but hey, we're here and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some solutions. Let's talk about how you can make your way out here to Mexico if you haven't already, and finally live that life that you've been wanting to live. So shout out to everyone out there. You know how we do here in the live streams. We're gonna wait, we're gonna just shoot the craps a little bit, while we wait for people to get the notifications and get here on time and all that good stuff. So again, good morning from California and good afternoon to people on the East Coast. So shout out to everyone out there. And so today what we're going to be focusing on is, kind of just, what is it, like piggybacking off of the things that we were talking about in the last few episodes and last year. As I was telling you guys that going forward into this year, I was going to really focus on solutions and helping you guys finally, get your arses out here. Because again, I know for a lot of people, it's there's many variables involved, whether lack of resources or information or whatever it is. And so that's what we're going to be working on, this year going forward. So you guys if you guys have been following me this year so far, the last few videos, you guys know that I went on ahead and I uploaded, a video with a good friend of mine, where Jacob, sorry, a little brain fart there. Anyways, my good friend Jacob, and again, he had a program, an application, kind of like a whole language learning situation. So again, for me, when I moved to Mexico, language was not a problem. I already spoke Spanish, but I know for a lot of you guys out there, well, Spanish might be a problem. So I'm offering a solution there. I'm offering many solutions. Again, they're all on my website. But we're really going to be focusing on, things like that, not just, for example, learning the language. But in other cases, again, I know I've talked about it many times in the past, where I've mentioned the fact that, again, I'm just always trying to give you guys the tools so that you guys can help yourselves. But again, as the years go on, and again, throughout the whole time I've been here, I realized that there are many people in the audience, and some people in the audience need a little bit more help. Or need some sort of help, again, whether they don't know the language or don't know the landscape out here. And so again, I've always kind of like told you guys, hey, go out there and kind of like find your own facilitators or your own whatever, because again, it's always been difficult for me to help you guys with that. But again, I decided this year, going forward, that I was going to help you guys with that as well. And so again, I'm teaming up with, some professionals out there that, again, their job is basically to help you guys get on your feet and get all the things that you need done. All right, so long story short, I'm helping you out in that sense. I'm making more videos, on the ground, giving you guys information, doing more videos, going deeper into real estate, going into immigration, going into everything. And so that's, again, things that I've always done on the channel, but this year we're really gonna hunker down and go even deeper. So anyway, shout out to everyone in the chat, welcome. Again, I know for a lot of people out there, for many reasons, because of things that are going on in the USA and around the world, a lot of people are, in a sense, losing some hope. And again, I'm here to, again, remind you guys that, there's tons of hope, okay? There's tons of options. There's still ways for you to, make your life better and get out of the situation that you're in. So again, that's what we're going to be focusing on. Again, solutions to your problems. All right, and no paywall or anything like that. Okay, you know how we do here. I just give it away for free. But again, you got to also put your part into it as well. All right. So, but anyway, shout out to everyone out there. We got Clay Howell. Oh, shout out to you. Says been a long time, Jose. Glad to see you're still thriving. Keep up the good smile and personality. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Shout out to you. You know, a lot of times when I don't hear from people for a long time, it's always kind of like a good sign, because usually what that means is that, well, they finally already moved to Mexico. Once you move to Mexico, you know, a lot of times most people stop watching my channel and they stop interacting because, well, they're living out here already. They're already living the dream. There's no reason to live vicariously through me or what have you. But anyway, shout out to you, Clay. You know, I'm guessing you're already out in Mexico. Radar says, kind of excited about your friend's Spanish app. Oh, awesome. I hope it's not too much. Plan on moving to Morelia soon. I need to learn the language. Thanks, buddy. Awesome. Congrats. Once again, George says, love Merida, love it. I would move there yesterday if I could generate some income to live off of. So again, that's I'm glad you brought that up, George, because you know the reality is that, you know, for a lot of people, obviously, you know, the whole idea or dream of moving to Mexico, you know, ends as quickly as they thought about it, because again, they can't generate income. But again, I help you out with that as well. Again, on my website, again, I have you know, tons of links and information. Let's just go through that real quick, you know, for those of you guys that might be new here. All right, but again, on my website, as you guys can see there, right? Did I get the whole thing there? All right, whatever, close enough. Hold on a second. Anyways, as you guys can see on my website, you know, my website is full of information. All right, so we're just gonna go through it real quick. But you know, right at the top, right here where it says moving to Mexico general information, you can just click on there, and right off the bat, you know, you're gonna see, you're gonna find the video. All right, that's gonna tell you how you can find rentals. Again, maybe you might want to hire somebody to help you, but it doesn't matter. At least you know what to, you know, the more information you have, the better. And so obviously, if you know what the prices are or what prices are going for, if you hire somebody and, you know, they're giving you extremely high prices, well, then you know that there are things that are cheaper out there, so you can say, hey, look, bop, 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 bop. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, just the more you know, whether you look for a place yourself or you hire somebody. Again, jobs, you know, right there, you know, George was asking about work right there. You know what I mean? I got a whole video talking about work, about all kinds of ways that you can find work. All right. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a carpenter or you're a computer programmer, whatever it is, there's something for you out there. Okay. And again, and I go as far as to even provide all the way at the top. All the way at the top, you see digital nomad jobs. Let's just go there real quick. Look at this. I got a whole list of places that you can go on ahead and look for work, okay? Whether right off the bat you want to just teach English, which by the way you can do without, you know, any prior teaching knowledge, without any, again, obviously the less, the less accreditation you have, or if you don't have any at all, you'll be making less money. But other than that, you know, you can still find jobs, okay? Find work, all right? Teaching English, regular jobs, freelance gigs, and so much more, okay? So, but again, you got to put in that work. So just going back to here, again, I got so many videos with so much information, you know, again, most asked questions, you know, banking solutions, Apostle, you know, the Spanish speaking program, all right? How to get your citizenship. All right, if you got Mexican heritage or family or whatever, right? The complete list, you know, of all your residency options. How you can get even residency without, you know, again, for whatever reason you don't meet any of the residency options out there. Well, there's other ways to do it. Again, how to get a loan, and I can go on, you know, for purchasing a home, and I can go on and on. So please go to my website, guys. It's free. All right, so just check out all that information there. All right, that you can use. At your disposal. So, all right. But again, you know, I can't do everything for you. And by the way, I'm going to be adding to the website real soon. All right. Like I said, I'm going to add a real professional facilitator. All right. Like for reals, because I was working with a facilitator there. It's kind of like hit or miss. But it's just someone I knew, whatever. But still, at the end of the day, someone that's going to provide every single service you need. Anything from, hey, I just need to go open up a bank account, to like, hey, I need to rent a car. Hey, I need to go to the beach. Hey, I need someone to help me find a rental. Hey, I need whatever you need. Okay, that's it. I'm going to provide everything for you guys, all right? The end, all right, whether you want it or not. But that's the thing, so I know I have a lot of people in the audience, and everyone has different situations and resources and so on and so forth. So this is why I'm just again trying to make sure that nobody's left out. No child or no viewer left behind, right? No viewer left behind. So that's the idea here, because again, for some of you guys that know my story or don't know my story, I came out here 7.5 years ago with only $1,500 left to my name. And not only have I survived, I've thrived, and I've helped so many of you guys along the way. And I've met a lot of you guys along the way. And some of you guys had a similar situation to me. Some of you guys, came out here balling. You guys know I've interviewed, I've talked to a lot of you guys. We've shown you guys, and then so I know there's a lot of viewers out there of every situation, and so that's the thing. I'm just trying to help everybody help themselves and help everybody with everything. So we got Nash Mancino says, have you gotten your temporary residency through marriage? Yes, I got it through marriage. I'm married to a Mexican citizen, and I got my marriage certificate apostilled. I hear straightforward. It is straightforward. It is very easy. Most things are pretty easy. It's just that, again, when you're going to deal with immigration, it's like going to the DMV or going to any other government office for the most part. It just sucks, all right? And the thing is that you don't have to do many of those things out here in Mexico, dealing with, again, government authority, all that stuff here. Thank God. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. So with that said, yes, when I got my residency through marriage, it was really easy. It's just providing the proper paperwork that they asked for, showing up to the proper appointment, following directions, and before you know it, you're in and you're out. All right, so it's very easy. All right, not just for not just for marriage, but for many things. Again, so. But again, for example, like when I went to, years ago when I bought a car and I was registering my car, my gosh, it took forever. I had to go back and forth to the registration office, to the DMV, multiple times just to get it right. So that, that was annoying. But like I said, it just depends on the situation. And, maybe, again, if you don't have your right paperwork or the right whatever, you might have to go through that. But other than that, it's easy. It's easy, right? It's not like in the USA, where, it's just a different situation. But anyways, all right. So we got Hidden Knowledge saying, Jose, my friend said that she could not do the border hopping anymore. They're cracking down, so they're not allowing you to come back for 6 months each time. Again, look, the reality is that it depends on the border. It depends on many situations, but they're not cracking down. I mean, I don't know where. Look, in certain countries, again, the thing is like every country is different. So a lot of times, I've realized this through the years. There's always a lot of what is it, like news or, again, misinformation out there that Mexico is cracking down on residency. And the reality is that when you go deeper, you realize that no, it's not Mexico that's cracking down. There's other countries. If you're in Asia, they're very, very strict, with residency. And so a lot of people just assume or think that it's the same thing here. Now, what happens is that, for example, let's say that, you're going to Belize, to, just cross the border and come back, right? Well, depending on where you cross and who you cross with, meaning what border agent, whatever, right? Will depend on whether they're going to give you that for free or not. So, for example, I know this is horrible, but this is just the way it is. You might go to the Belize border to go get your residency, right? And then all of a sudden you're out there, and they're just gonna, they're threatening you to only give you like 10 days. You're like, no, blah, blah, blah. You form, you say, hey, no, look, I need my 180 days. What is it gonna take for me to get my 180 days? And they might simply say, oh, it's gonna be 1,000 pesos. Oh, okay. You pay the 1,000 pesos, you get your 180 days. Now, a lot of people don't want to do that, don't want to hear that, and don't want, but that's their situation. That's just, that could be a possibility. But like, for example, there are people that live on the US-Mexico border and they cross daily, no problems. So, and depending on the airport, I've mentioned it before. I went every time I go through Mexico City Airport. Oh my God. They're just the worst. the worst. But when the last time I flew out of Guadalajara airport, they didn't even check my passport, all right? And I got on the plane. Now, I mean, just to give you an example, you know what I mean, of how things are different all over the place, okay, all over Mexico. So, the reality is that there are many ways to always get things done in Mexico. I've talked about it many times. I can't go into extreme details on a YouTube video. But the reality is that, money solves a lot of problems. Sometimes you got to butter and grease the wheels. Sometimes you got to, again, know the language, speak the language correctly, know your rights, know your, there's many things involved. And so that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, and so a lot of people are just not willing to do any of that. And they just think, because like, again, they just show up to the immigration thing. They don't even speak a word. And then they just bump. And then they're like, oh my God, look what they did to me. It's like, listen, you got to talk to them. And there might be some pushback, meaning, hey, I want 180 days. And they might be like, oh, okay, what are you going to do in Mexico for 180 days? And it's like, just say you're traveling. Just say you live there. Why is that? Like, it's like, hey, I live half of the year in Mexico. That's not illegal, man. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And so it's like, it's all these preconceptions, all these things that we kind of have in our head, all this, again, when we approach these people, and it's like, we're basically, we're almost like asking for those 10 days, like in a weird way before you get there. And that's the thing. It's like, in the USA, a lot of people are conditioned these days to not even question authority, to not even push back, and the reality is that that's not the way things are, in Mexico. They might be, strict in other places, but they're not that strict here in Mexico. And just because, you all of a sudden, like, not argue with the immigration officer, but just say, hey, listen, I need 180 days. Oh, but no, the immigration officer might be like, oh, but blah, blah, blah. And you're like, hey, listen, I need 180 days because this is my reason and this is my whatever. Oh, but this is what, and you simply just say, hey, look, can I just speak to a supervisor, please? All right, because I need my 180 days. And many people are just scared to even take it that far because, oh my God, they're going to deport me. They're not going to deport you, bro. They're not going to deport you, ma'am. They're not going to deport. So that's the thing. It's just like, it's so many little things like that. Same thing when people, talk about authority, or police officers in Mexico. Like, oh yeah, the police officers in Mexico, they're going to pull you over and ask you for money. Okay, sure, great, wonderful. I'd rather that than shoot me in the face. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, police are not good anywhere. All right, I'm not a fan. Most people are not a fan, but it's just it's a completely different animal. And so, many times, if you speak the language, if you know what's going on, you can push back. You can have a conversation with the police officer. You can even get out of a ticket or get out of extortion by just knowing your rights and your language and whatever. But many times you don't, and many times people panic, and many people before they know it, like, oh my God, they robbed me on the side of the road. And it's like, it's just so many little things like that. That's why it's so very important to know the culture, know the whatever. And so I mention it and I talk about it all the time. You know what I mean? Hey, if you're just moving to Mexico to save a few bucks, man, you know what I mean? You're okay, great. You can do that, but you're going to have to be dealing with a lot of things that you're probably not going to want to deal with. Like, for example, me, you know what I mean? When it comes to how the police are here, you know what I mean? Extortion over something way worse. Like in the USA, you know what? I'll take the extortion, man. I'll take the whatever. You get what I'm saying? When it pertains to, having to deal with, just whatever it is I got to deal with, I much prefer the alternative, the Mexican alternative, than the American or US alternative, the one I had. So that's the thing. And so these are some of the things. And by the way, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm not trying to anything. I'm just trying to clear things up for everyone out there in the audience, because I remember especially during the COVID days. Oh my God, man, it was like an uphill battle going up against, every other YouTuber and every other content creator, basically, talking about all this fake news and all this fake whatever about, how Mexico was closed and they're cracking down on this and and it's like, man, it was the complete opposite of that. I remember, look, some of you guys are old enough in the sense, we've been watching long enough or been keeping tune of the things in Mexico long enough that you guys remember the RNE program. And that RNE program, I remember when it first kind of came out and I was first kind of like talking about it years ago, during the COVID days, that I was vilified, all over YouTube and all over the place. By the way, this is one of my channels, not like 1 million subscribers and things like that, because I speak truth. that many people don't want to hear. But look, I remember like during the R&E days, I was the only one that was pushing, hey, look, this is a way to get your residency without financial solvency, legally, nowhere. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, that guy Jose, he's spreading all this fake news. He's telling people how to get their residency by not doing it the right way, which is doing it through financial solvency. Anyways, long story short, by the time that I made it a normal thing to get your resident, not me, Jose Novello, me and Jose Novello, but especially him. He was the one behind the whatever. Anyways, look, long story short, by the time that it was a normal thing that people were coming down here on a regular basis to get their residency legally, all of a sudden, before you knew it, all over Mexico, all these same YouTubers went from, hey, Jose is lying and this is fake news and he's blah, 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 to all of them selling you how to get your residency. They were all selling R&E program residency things. Okay, and I could go on with so many things. And so this is why, again, I'm a very polarizing channel. Some people love me, some people hate me. But the reality is because, I'm just out here telling the truth, okay? Or at least letting people know how things are and whether they like them or not. And some things are pretty, some things are awesome, some things are not. And some things, again, might not be something that you could ever get accustomed to. And some things very easily, you can't wait to, be in XYZ situation, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, you know what I mean? It's just, there's so many aspects to this, so many variables. By the way, shout out to Renato Diaz with a $20 super chat. Muchas gracias, bro. Sorry, bro. I was on my rant. My apologies. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you with that. $20. Now, needed now more than ever, especially with the exchange rate, all right? If you guys are keeping an eye on that, right? The dollar is tanking. Therefore, thus making the Mexican peso stronger. And what does that mean? That means that everything's getting more expensive for all of us. When I first moved into this home 6-7 months ago, when I moved into this home, my rent in dollars was $600. And my rent today is close to $700, all right? That's how much the dollar has lost value, all right, in that same time span, all right, in just 7 months. So shout out to that dollar, huh? Bruh. Anyways, but long story short, guys, you know what I mean? Like, they're really, there's not that much to worry about per se, because, that whole idea that, they're cracking down, at immigrant, they're not cracking down. Again, they're not denying anybody. They're not denying you getting your FMM. They're not denying, again, if you're getting in an argument at the Belize border, for example, or some other border, right, with some government agent, over how many days, really what they're arguing about is like, are you going to pay me for your 180 days or not? So whatever. Anyways, it is what it is. 6'7", man. Just, it is what it is. 6'7", right? As the kids say these days. So anyways, oh, there we go. Anina Hanan says, I live in Mexico and enjoy your channel. It's good to hear from other residents who live in different parts of the country. Oh, awesome. Oh, I appreciate that. If you don't mind sharing with us, what part of Mexico you're watching us from, that'd be awesome. And if you don't want to share, don't share. You don't have to. But anyway, shout out to everyone out there. Renato Diaz says, not trying to be pessimistic or negative, but I hear that's a new cartel that represents the Yucatan Peninsula trying to drive out the Sinaloa cartel. Is it more rampant and perceived as an... Listen, man, there's always things going on in the background. Look, maybe it's just I have a different way of viewing things because I was raised in Miami during the 80s, during Scarface, during the 90s, during all that crazy time. And so to me, I mean, I've never even remotely seen anything close to that kind of anything out here in Mexico, let alone in Merida. So whether or not, there are things going on in the background in Renato Diaz, it's not really affecting the society or people. And I've mentioned it multiple times here before that, they might be doing their thing, these cartels might be fighting amongst themselves, but they're not, the last thing that they're doing is affecting the economy. They all feed off of that economy. It's just simple as that. The cartels and things like that, they're not like, terrorist organizations that are super disorganized. No, they're closer to government than anything else. All right. So they keep, and capitalists. All right. And they got to make sure they keep everything running. How else are they going to pay for their wars and their this and their power and their no, man, you know what I mean? Like I haven't seen anything, you know, I haven't seen anything in the sense to be alarmed by. Again, I've been here close to 8 years already, and I've seen things throughout the years, but nothing, nothing from where I come from, the USA. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? I'm more worried about the, what's happening in the USA with all the riots and the violence and the ICE agents and and the all that stuff. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? So nah, I mean, whatever. I mean, honestly, it's funny you even mentioned that because right now, I mentioned it before. Every part of Mexico is different, and sometimes the cartel really is just the government. And it's look, speaking of local news, things that have happened in months past, in recent months, has been where the extorting group, the group of people that has been out there extorting restaurants, meaning fancy restaurants, extorting restaurants, extorting businesses and stuff like that, has not been any cartel group. In fact, it's been the local government and like the inspectors and the government and all of this crap. And it's been like a big thing. It's been like a big thing because the people have been pushing back. Again, some of the people that have been the affected business owners, that have a lot of money and power as well, they've been pushing back, and it's been all over the news and stuff like that. So the reality is that at least out here, if anything, the governing cartel would be the government. All right. And that's it. That's not the same in every part of Mexico, but yeah, no, it's a different animal out here. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, even the violence that's happening in other parts of Mexico, again, it's almost, how do I say this? Like it's almost like a whimper compared to what the real violence going on in the USA at the moment, in my opinion. But what do I know? You know what I mean? So. Hidden Knowledge says, I've never had a problem with a cartel when I go to Mexico. In fact, nobody has. In fact, I've never even seen one, okay, in the 8 years that I've been out here. I'm sure they're everywhere. I'm sure they're out and about, but I've never seen one. And most Mexicans have never seen one, all right? So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad that, you haven't, had any problems, with... anyways, but you stay, but yeah, most people stay away from that kind of stuff. And the thing is, it's like, it's not, what people think, it really isn't. It's, again, a lot of Americans, I'm an American. A lot of us, we have been conditioned to think all these things wrongfully. And the reality is that, again, for anyone out there that's, into, what is it, psychology or whatever it is, right? The whole thing of projection, the reality is that, all of these things that the USA always projects about other countries out there, they're really more of anything. Again, when you project, you're really talking about yourself. And so, from someone that's come from very violent areas in the USA and been to violent areas out here in Mexico and know people that have been to violent areas. And I know there's violence out here, man. I'm not downplaying it. There are areas that are really bad out here. But for the most part, it's not... it's not like that. It's not like in the USA. In the USA, it's like your typical, your typical suburb in Minnesota is is up in flames these days. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. This is a big different, different animal, man. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. That's the thing. It's always downplayed. For the people that have actually been to Mexico, traveled Mexico, lived out here, it's like, there's nothing really going on. But yeah. And it's funny because like the things that I always see, and even from other places like Guadalajara, Mexico City, when it pertains to crime, so many times it's just petty crime. And so it's just like being in any big city, you know what I mean? Don't leave your car open, make sure you don't leave your purse unattended, that can be, be careful of pickpocketers, that kind of stuff, not be careful walking down the street because you're going to get stabbed in the eye like you would in New York City or London. So anyways, all right. But yeah, just going back to, okay, now, how you can move to Mexico in 2026. Again, guys, the idea is simply, you got to, educate yourself. You got to like, not just educate yourself, but you got to have the proper tools. Again, one thing is knowledge and information, but also the tools. You need tools in order for you to, do XYZ, in order for you to accomplish your situation. So that's why I'm focusing, and I am doubling down. I'm quadrupling down on providing everything you need, basically literally everything you need in order to make this transition, this move, as easy as possible for you. All right. And for example, some people need to learn Spanish. Some people might need a facilitator, because again, I've realized through the years, not everybody that's moving to Mexico is 36 to 40 years old. In fact, a lot of you guys out there might be a lot older, and so you might need help moving around, getting to the doctor, going to, getting the appointment to get the bank account, whatever it is, all kinds of things like that. And so and even though I've throughout the years, I just keep, kind of like delegating that to just random people on the internet, saying, basically not taking that upon myself to help you guys with it. I've decided to change everything around this year and just help you guys with everything. There's so many of you guys that are always reach out to me and are disappointed when I can't help you with something. So I've decided I don't want to disappoint you guys anymore. Well, not any more than I've disappointed my mother. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But
Bruh.
Sorry, I couldn't, shameless joke there. No, but anyways, in the sense that I don't want to disappoint you guys, in the sense that of when you guys reach out to me and say, hey, Jose, I need help finding a place to live, I don't have to push you back anymore. I can simply say, no problem. Just reach out to my friend Alejandra, and she will take care of everything you need. Oh, hey, Jose, I need to open up a bank account. Hey, Jose, I need this and that. Hey, Jose, I need help finding a good doctor. Hey, Jose, whatever you need, I got you. Okay. And again, for things like that, and then on top of that, again, as you guys know, on my website, all right, that's filled with tons of free information. Tons of, again, information that you can use to help yourself. All right. So whether you want to hire somebody, all right, whether you want to hire me, to talk to me, have a consultation, ask me about anything and everything, certain things that I can't talk about on YouTube, whatever it is, right? You can do that. I got all the options. I got options for people with no money, no resources, and people with money and resources, whatever. All right. I'm here to help everyone and anyone in between. Okay. And that's it, because the thing is that, things are getting really dicey in the USA, in Canada, in other parts of the world. Things are just going from bad to worse. And, I understand that, I'm one of those guys, that's like, very tough love, hard love, basically, oh, you got to do it. You got to do it yourself. You got to this. I'm always going to be that. But again, as the years have gone on, and as time has gone on, and as things get more difficult for you out there, I have to soften my stance and understand the situation better, and just realize that there's a lot of you guys out there that want and need to leave, and you might just not have the fortitude, or the youth, or the whatever that I have. Okay, but you have other things, other resources, and long story short, you just need to be, paired up, with the appropriate people that will help guide you and help, put you in the right situation, in the good situation that you deserve to be in. And again, I do a lot, when I work with Jose Novello, and I work with other individuals. But like I said, going into this year, going forward, we're focusing on, with the facilitators, and all that good stuff. So again, I really hope you guys are, be able. I hope you guys are going to be able to take advantage of that. Again, but my apologies for the choppy internet. Hopefully, you guys heard me there. My apologies there. So shout out to everyone. Hey man, how are you exchanging Bitcoin for pesos? Man, that's a great question. I haven't had Bitcoin in years. All right, so I don't know, man. You know what I mean? The whole Bitcoin thing has been, manipulated and taken over, by the people in power. So, again, what I focus on these days, and what I've been telling people for, over a year now, and hopefully some of you guys have been listening. Again, by the way, guys, remember, I have more than one channel, all right? So, real quick, again, you guys know my website, but again, I also have two channels. I got, Cooking with Jose. We're uploading videos. All right. So again, if you want to see me cooking, you want to, experience, some cooking content, go check out my Cooking with Jose. All right. And then Jose Unleashed. You guys already know I used to go live every Thursday after I would go live here, but I stopped going live over there this year, and I'm just uploading videos. But anyways, long story short, if you guys have been following me long enough, especially if you've been following me on Unleashed or whatever, you guys know I've been telling you guys buy silver, buy gold, and so on and so forth. And if you guys listened to me over a year ago or at any point, you guys would be sitting pretty. So yeah, no, at this point, it's more about gold and silver than anything else. I think crypto, I mean, don't talk to me about crypto at least until October, and then we'll see where we're at, and then we'll go from there. But nah, no, crypto's dead. All right. But by the way, if you need to exchange crypto, buy crypto, do anything with crypto in Mexico, you can go try Bitso. Okay, Bitso is a way that you can connect and kind of like trade your coins, get the cash, etc., etc. So try Bitso, Bitso. All right. In fact, let me see if I can, for anyone out there that might be interested in that. But yeah, no, I have been so far away from crypto, and I'm glad, man, because otherwise I would have been beyond in debt, or not in debt, but beyond. It's not good. This is no good. Crypto's not been good. Okay, but anyways, whatever. I'm not, where we at? Okay, a Bitso, there we go. Here's a website, so you guys can check it out. All right, so anyone interested in that? Who was asking me that? Bob was asking me that. So, but yeah, and so again, just going back to what we were saying, gold and silver. So look, see, if anything, look, I got a silver Bitcoin. A friend of mine gave this to me years ago. But this is a pure silver here, look at this. So, that's what I'm into. All right, gold, and I have been since forever. All right, I've always been into gold and silver. So, anywho's, oh, there you go, PDX. There you go. You sold your Bitcoin years ago. There you go. Just before it dropped. There you go. Smart. Juanillo says, after being in the U.S. since the age of 5 and now reaching retirement age, I have been contemplating particularly retiring in Mexico since I was born in the Yucatan, Motul. Might be there in March to get some ideas. Oh, awesome. Yeah, man, you definitely got to come and check out Merida. You got to come back home, man. I'm telling you. I am not from here. All right, I am originally from Florida. My parents are Cuban, por eso que hablo español. But long story short, yeah, man, I feel more at home here than I ever did at home. So, if you're from here, you definitely got to come back. There's a lot of people that have left the Yucatan when you're very young or were raised in the USA and so on and so forth, and they live here, man. They came back at some point, they never left, or they're retiring here. So yeah, you'll be welcomed with open arms. That is for sure. Inspiration says, thank you for all your support in promoting Mexico as a dream. I do want the Mexican dream. Oh, awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm just doing my part. Yeah, to me, it's Mexico is is something that's very special to me, man. Because I remember my situation in the USA was a very dire and horrible situation, and basically I came to Mexico, and Mexico not only welcomed me with open arms, but basically saved me, and then provided everything that I've always wanted out of my life. Things that I was working so hard for in the USA to try to attain and achieve, and I just could never do it. And then out here in Mexico, not even doing as much effort or work, to try to attain the things that I've always wanted. They just landed because it's just a natural way of life out here. It's just hard to explain. It really is hard to explain because in the USA, we're all fed this idea as to what success is and what the American dream is, or so what a good life is, right? But most of us, no matter how successful we are or not successful, we know, most of us are very empty inside and just don't like it. It's just terrible. It's just, and so there's always that yearning for more or a better life or a better quality of life and all this other stuff. And when I came to Mexico, it was just, everyone's living that life. Everyone just lives that life. You see it all around you, man. I mean, this is why I film these videos and I show you what I show you. You know what I mean? A lot of people might see poverty, and a lot of times what I see is rich. They're rich in life. We're the fucking poor ones. Yeah, part of my friends. We're the ones with a poverty mentality. And so, but the reality is that, immediately after, just being out here, and just seeing the way of life and the simplicity and the happiness and just all these things. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always dreamed of. This is what I always thought was never possible. Because again, coming from the USA, it's not possible. But then you go to another country. Again, it doesn't have to be Mexico, all right? But you just go to another country and you see how people live their lives every day. And it's just like, oh my, that's what I want. And so depending on the individual will depend on how much you're going to be able to really get to that life or not. Again, for example, I'm never ever going to be able to really live that life, the life that you're looking on screen right now, the life that these people live every single day. But my gosh, I immerse myself as much as I can in this life. All right. And I am me, my unique me, and they know who I am. I mean, they don't know who I am. They have no clue that I'm a YouTuber or anything like that. They just know who I am. I'm a foreigner. I'm a Cuban. I live here and I love living here. And they love that I love living here. And it's just that whole thing. So they share their things with me. They share their culture. They share their lives. They share their whatever. I share my life with them. They're curious. They ask what, and it's just like and it's just the way of life. They're living their life. I'm living my life, but we're all living the life together as a community. And, it's things like that, man, where it's just like, man, you can never get this in the USA, period, end of story. And now less than ever. And, for me, that was like the real freedom. And then when I saw so many people living their daily lives for like around $500 a month, I'm like, bro, okay, I could do this. Again, meaning I can live this life. Again, might not be the most glamorous. I might not be eating filet mignon. I might not be, but I mean, dude, are you kidding me, man? Just the freedom and the lifestyle that they have, I have too. I can have too if I want it. And I do. You know what I mean? But it's just at the end of the day, I'm American, I'm Cuban, I got my own culture, my own lifestyle, I'm young, whatever, so I do YouTube, I do this, I'm connected to the real world, not the real world, I'm connected to the modern world, I'm connected to the modern society, I'm connected to that, but at the same time, I'm connected to the real world, the world that they live in, that many people around the world live in. And it's two different worlds, man, two completely different worlds. And, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost like I feel blessed to be allowed to even be allowed, to be allowed to even step and live in this world with them. And that's it, man. You know what I mean? It's just, there's so many things like that. So to me, it's like, man, I forgot where I was going with all this. I really forgot where I was going with all this. But, the reality is, oh yeah, that for a lot of people in the audience, and for a lot of you guys out there in the audience, I know you guys resonate with that, and you guys want that, and you guys dream of that, and you guys can have that. Okay? Because again, look at all these people struggling. If you're willing enough, okay, to struggle, you know what I mean? Like really like say, hey, you know what? I want that lifestyle. But I also know it's probably going to come with struggle, especially at the beginning. As you're getting your feet on the ground and trying to figure it all out. If you're willing to take that on, man, you will be heavily rewarded with such an amazing life. But if you're not willing to take that pain, again, no pain, no gain. But if you're not willing to take that pain of the growth, of not knowing the language, of bumping your head, of, all these things that are going to happen to you, as you figure your way out here, man, you're just not going to be happy. You're not going to be whatever. But for a lot of people, you yearn for that, man. You're yearning for this. You're yearning for these real experiences, being able to speak to these people, they bring a smile to your face. You bring a smile to their face. I mean, it's I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you guys. And that's why I speak so strongly about the things that I do, because it's I'm telling you, it's not everyone that can replicate this lifestyle or even want this lifestyle. A lot of people are just looking to move to Mexico to just save a few bucks, and that is fine. That's great. That's wonderful. But you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point, at least in my opinion, because like, man, right now, again, just going to the exchange rate, okay? As I was mentioning earlier, when I moved to this house 7 months ago, my rent was $600. The exchange rate was changed so much in the last few months, meaning that the US dollar has tanked and the Mexican peso has gotten stronger. So the US dollar losing value, Mexican peso gaining value. What does that mean? My rent is now $700 a month. And things could get more expensive. Not just rent, but other things, right? Is that going to deter me? Is that going to keep me away from living out here or being? No. If we got to tighten our belts, we're going to tighten our belts. If we got to figure out a way to make more money, we're going to figure out a way to make more money. We're just going to do what we got to do. Again, there's still many people out here living on very way below their means. You guys see me document it all the time. And if they can do it, I can do it. Maybe they can do it better than me, obviously, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is that it's not undoable, but it's all about expectations, man. And so what is it that you really want? Do you really want that freedom, like that you have out here? Do you really want to get away from a society that will shoot you in the face or arrest you for whatever reason or pay you a visit for saying XYZ? You want to live in a place like that? Or do you want to live in a place like here? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Do you want to live in it's just so many things like that. So, out here, you're not going to be able to get your EBT, your food stamps, your government help, you got to go out there and do like every other Mexican, all right? Go out there and work. Go out there and make that money. Go out there and figure it out. And that's the thing, you know what I mean? For a lot of people, they're not only willing to take that challenge, you guys are yearning, you guys are dreaming of living that life and taking that challenge. But you got to really that's the thing. It's like, it's not going to be easy, like at all, period. End of story for a lot of individuals. I know, again, it's all depending on the resources. I'm talking to the people out there that don't have many resources, okay? Like I didn't have many resources. Like the people you're seeing all over my video right now don't have that many resources, okay? It can be done, but it's not going to be easy. And you really, you might be losing some weight because you might not be, being able to afford food. But again, I've said this many times before. What would you rather be doing? You know what I mean? Like you're starving one way or the other. Would you rather starve doing what you're doing right now, living the life that you're living right now in the USA, or would you rather starve out here in Mexico? Think about it. All right? Starve doing something you love or starve doing something you hate. Most people out there in the USA, you hate the life that you're living and you're struggling. So why not move to another country that you're dreaming of, that you want to experience the culture, the adventure, the journey, the whatever. And obviously it's going to come with that same, with struggle. But again, you're struggling one way or the other, at least one. And you're struggling in the USA and you're not gaining any ground. If anything, you're losing ground every day in the USA. But if you move to another country, you're struggling, but at least you're moving up the ladder. It might be slow, but at least you're moving in the right direction. So, but anyways, because again, I mean, man, there's just so much, man. I could go on. Let me read some comments. I know you guys are. We got Oscar says, I'm working on getting citizenship through descent. Is it difficult to find work over there if you're not fluent in Spanish and over 50 years old? Again, it's all up to you. Again, look, let's just go to my website real quick. All right. Please visit my website. Okay. joseartiaga.com. All right. And on my website, I go into detail on everything. So for example, moving to Mexico, general information. We're going to click on there. All right. And right off the bat, okay, how to find rentals, how to find a home. But the second video is how to find a job in Mexico and earning money in Mexico. Okay. Can you earn money in Mexico without speaking the Spanish language? Yes, of course. You know what I mean? If you're 50 years old, yes, of course. You know what I mean? I have a friend that speaks maybe 6 words of Spanish, and she is 55 years old. Okay? And you know what she does for a living? She teaches English. What was her background in the USA? She was a physical therapist. Again, it's just you want that freedom and you want that life, you might have to do something you might not be comfortable with. All right? And now when I talk to her, when I meet her, when I whatever, she is thriving doing teaching the English thing. Okay? Now, again, that's just one option. One option. Look, I'm starting a business. Again, I do YouTube. You might be able to start a business. You might be able to bring your professional skills out here. Again, you watch the video for more information, okay? But there's options, guys, all right? Again, You guys can go to my Jose Unleashed, you know, my other channel. All right, you guys can see the beginnings of me starting a little business out here. All right, that you guys can emulate. Again, not do exactly what I do. Whatever, I mean, you could do whatever you want. You can do what I'm doing or do something similar. So that's what I'm saying. There's many. I've shown many times. You know, all kinds of people with all kinds of skills. Here, let me show you another video real quick. Okay. Let me see if I remember. There we go. Okay, look. Retired life of an artist in Mexico. Okay, so long story short. Long story short, you know what I mean? Again, you might be an artist. You can just set up shop and sell your stuff there. You know, my friend Katie, you know, she's an accomplished artist. She's retired. She's not doing it for the money. She's doing it because she loves painting, and she paints portraits of animals for people, and she just sets up shop every Sunday. All right, and she does that. She's also involved with art galleries. She's involved with a bunch of things. But anyways, she does that. You know, there are all kinds of people that sell artisanal things or sell whatever. You know, I'm telling you, you got to get out of the comfort zone. You got to understand that you're moving to another country, no matter what your situation, and you're an immigrant now, and you got to start all over. And this is the way it is. So, anyways, just FYI, guys. Okay, there are options, man. Okay, there are many options out there. You know, don't be just thinking that, you know what I mean, there's only one or two things that you can do. There are many things. So, yeah, sorry about the video there. What's going on with the video? Is all choppy there. All right, whatever. So anyway, shout out to everyone out there in the chat. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Juanillo says, I got one more question. Are there reputable contractors that can build a house for you even though I can't be there? I have a lot with no house. It seems risky. Thank you, Jose. Okay. I'm going to give you two answers, okay? The first answer is yes, you can find somebody to do that for you. But the less hands-on you want to be, the more expensive it's going to cost. And so that's the answer, okay? But I'm going to give you the Jose real answer. You know, the real answer. No, I would not do that. You know, I would not do that if I were you. You know what I mean? There are tons of reputable contractors, but I'm sorry, man. This happens in the USA. This happens everywhere, but especially out here in Mexico. While the cat's away, the mice will play. So I've seen many people throughout the years build their homes out here, and the ones that are successful are the ones that are hard asses and on top of the workers and the contractor and just getting it done. I've seen people rebuild or do a whole home in 3 to 4 months, and I've seen people take 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean? And you can obviously tell what the difference is. You know what I mean? So, you know, one was hands-on and one was hands-off. And so that's my honest opinion, man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't do it. I just wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? You know, I wouldn't, because it's just, you know, there's a lot of lack of oversight. The rules and again, part of that freedom. So in the USA, you know, there's so many laws and regulations, and you can sue, and you can this, and you can that. So basically, you don't even care. You can just set it and forget it. And if it doesn't work out, I don't give a crap. I'm going to get my money back. That's not how it works in Mexico, man. You know, Mexico is like, there's none of that. There's none of that insurance. There's none of those laws and regulations or by the time you figure out that they messed up, it's too late. By the time you figured out that they took your money and they only built a foundation, it's too late. And I can go on and on. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've seen from other people's mistakes. And you know, my best advice is to contact Jose Novello directly. Jose Novello is the individual that I do videos with on the channel when we do the home tours. He talks about real estate. He talks about the laws. He's a lawyer. You know, he talks about all these things. So, and he's a real estate lawyer, a tax lawyer. That's really his bread and butter. So if there's anyone out there that can really guide you and help you with that, would be him. if there's anyone out there that might have, reputable people that can help you with that situation, and also hire people to keep an eye on those people while you're not there, it would be him. Okay? But it's going to cost you money. Because like I just said, you got to hire somebody to take your place to keep an eye on the people that are supposed to be keeping an eye on the project. And it's just the way things go out here. So just, it is what it is. Nothing's perfect. Oh, what is the name of this mercado? Okay, we are in Mercado Lucas de Galvez, all right, or Mercado San Benito, but that's the main mercado in the city of Merida, the biggest mercado in all of the city of Merida, and it's just a few blocks from the main center. So if you're out here visiting as a tourist, you can definitely visit the mercado. It's only a few blocks southeast or south, whatever. It's just a few blocks from the main touristy area. So yes, guys. All right, let me see if you guys have any questions, any comments. Please feel free to ask away. But like I said, guys, how can you move out here in 2026? Again, you got to just, like I said, light that fire under your ass and start making it happen. Stop making excuses and start producing results. And again, easier said than done. But which is, again, why I'm doing everything humanly possible. Again, I've always done this throughout the years, since I've been doing YouTube. Giving you all the tools and all the information and everything you need, and then some, and even information you didn't even know you needed. I give it to you, right? But with that said, I know that, again, as the years have gone on, I've met a lot of you guys. I know there's a lot of different situations, and at the end of the day, I don't want to leave anyone behind. I don't want to leave any viewer behind. All right, no viewer left behind. And what does that mean? Doesn't matter what you need. All right, you need a car rental, I got you. You need a lawyer, I got you. You need to buy a home, I got you. You need to build a home, I got you. You want to go to the beach, I got you. You want to open up a bank account, we got you. You need to finish your residency, I got you. Whatever you need. All right, you need to find a rental, we got you. All right, so that's what we're going to work on, okay? Meaning that I got you in the information, meaning that I got all the information and I got all the tools and I got everything you need to do it yourself, or if you don't want to do it yourself, you can hire, individuals, trusted individuals that I will be linking and providing, again, because, we're working on a lot of these, partnerships, okay? Because I want to make sure, I put you in the right hands. It's as simple as that. This is why I haven't done a lot of this stuff in the past before. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's a lot more important, my reputation, okay, than all this stuff, which I know my reputation is, it is what it is. But you know what I'm saying. And so that's why, it's been difficult for me to work with certain individuals, or at least make certain partnerships out there, because not everyone is, I'm sorry, up to my standard. It is what it is. I'm sorry, all right? Might be because I'm a Virgo, maybe because I'm a former chef, maybe because I'm a hard ass. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. But guess what? I've, there's a lot of people, these days that I work with that, again, not only meet my expectations, but meet your expectations. Okay. That's the whole point. Okay. More than anything else, I want to make sure I put you in the right hands. All right. Because I hate hearing complaints, which I never do. Okay. I always hear positive results. I always hear positive, experiences. And it's because, again, I am, I'm very selective with the people I work with. All right. So look, long story short, and by the way, and you know this, and for anyone that's been following me for years, sometimes people work out, sometimes they don't. So, this is why Jose Novello is such a dear friend. I mean, not only are we friends, that we've known each other, for, just as, I've known Jose Novello before I knew my wife, for crying out loud, right? So I've known him for a long time. But again, working together with him throughout the last several years, again, our friendship and our partnership has gotten only stronger, simply because, again, the results don't lie. Again, if things, if things will not work out with him, things will be very different. You know what I mean? But he is a stand-up guy. You guys know. Anyone that's hired him or worked with him, you guys already know. But the thing is that for a lot of people out there that want to hire Jose for certain things, cannot afford Jose for certain things. Jose Novello, all right? Because he's a lawyer, all right? And he has lawyer prices. So this is why I'm working with other individuals, which their main job is to, again, work with individuals out there on a budget that need to get a lot done. All right. And so there's people out there that, like I said, are more than happy. Anyway, so you'll see. We're bringing all that together. I don't want to keep harping on that. But again, along with other things, like tools to speak Spanish. So look, the reason I paired up with Jacob and I did that video with Spanish, not too long ago with Jacob, was simply because, there's a million people out there selling all kinds of Spanish programs and selling all kinds of Spanish stuff. But when he showed me what he got, he has an application, he has a website, he has like an extensive program, he has like, all this stuff. And it's basically for serious people, people that are seriously want to learn the language and they seriously gonna do the work. Okay, great. That's wonderful. That's the guy, the stuff I want to pair up with. And again, let you guys know about that, because I know some of you guys, are willing to put the work and some of you guys are not. But I'm letting you guys know from the beginning. And for those of you guys that really want to put in that work and learn the language, we got a solution. And that goes with everything. Okay, with everything. And again, you can find all that information, again, all on my website. Okay, all on my website. You can just check it out there. Again, I got videos, I got information. But again, just right there at the top, Mexico general information. Also living in Merida, Merida, helpful resources, because some people are moving to Merida, Yucatan. Okay, that's where I got, Jose Novello. We're gonna get a new assistant up there. We got a bunch of things. Okay, sometimes you guys need new glasses or a dentist, all right? Or you need a trusted realty company or trusted, barber, whatever it is. Okay, my favorite Italian restaurant. Shout out to Bernardo. We gotta go pay him a visit soon. And so on. And look, that's the video that you're watching right now, which is the Mercado. All right, and so on and so forth. But again, digital nomad jobs, everything is on my website, guys. Okay, so whatever it is, whatever level you're at, whatever situation you're in, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter your income situation, how many resources you got. I can help anyone and everyone out there. But again, it all boils down to you. You got to be willing to help yourself. You got to be willing to, all right, to put in your part. Otherwise, nothing's going to work. All right. So, but long story short, I got you. All right. And I really hope, again, as the year goes forward, that, more and more of you guys that are out there in the audience that, for years have been wanting to make the move, for a very long time, have been wanting to, to come out to Mexico, but haven't been able to come out to Mexico simply because, well, again, you just didn't have the information. You didn't have the resources. You didn't have the whatever. Well, again, this is why we're doing everything humanly possible to help you guys as much as we can. All right, as again, me and my team. All right, because that's at the end of the day, it's I have to have a team. I can't do all these things on my own. I can only make videos. I can only do so much, right? But I can, at the very least, go out of my way, all right, to form, these very important relationships that at the end of the day are only here to help you more than anything else, all right? And that's it. I don't want to leave, again, no viewer left behind, all right? You know what? I think I'm going to start saying that, going forward, all right? So no viewer left behind, all right? We're here to make sure, all of you guys are taken care of. However it is you need to be taken care of. So, all right, let me see. Do I have any more comments, any more questions? Is there anything else? Let me know. Oh, I see a question here. It says, I'm late, but only concerned about the USA doing away with dual citizenship. Look, we've already talked about this. I even made a whole video on it. That whole getting rid of dual citizenship is not going to happen because, again, the majority of the members of Congress in the USA, the majority of the members of the House of Representatives, the majority of the politicians in the USA, they got dual citizenship with another country, which will not be named here. All right, but you guys know. All right. So they have allegiance to some certain country in the Middle East over there. And since they all got dual passports with that country, well, they're not going to get rid of dual passports for everybody. So don't worry about that. Don't listen to the fake news and all that stuff. All right. So, but I think that's it, guys. I don't know. I think we've already answered all your questions. I think we've already chat enough here. Oh, Renato Diaz saying, oh, sorry, I didn't read your super chat. But anyway, shout out to your super chat. Thanks for $20. But saludos hermano. I hear it's sweater weather out there. Yeah, it's been very cold. I mean, it's nice. You know, today is nice and it's starting to warm up again, but it's been brutal for us, man. 60 degrees is not fun. So, but yeah, so long story short, guys, I mean, yeah, don't worry about your dual passport or citizenship getting taken away, all right? You know, if again, Trump is the one that was saying that, right? So, you know, let's start with him first, all right? So, and his wife. Again, I am not, you know, anti-Trump or anti-left or right or any. I'm anti all of them, all right? Fuck them all right? Pardon my French. All right? So, I got no allegiance to anybody, all right? So, anyway, shout out to everyone out there. But I think that's it, guys. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else. I mean, you guys have no questions or comments, man. Man, see, look, that's how good I am at answering, you know, all of your doubts, all of your questions, all of your comments, all of your everything. You know, whether I read your comment or not, it's simply because, yeah, you guys are not asking me anything. So we got Whipple that asked me, how are things in Mexico? They're great. They're great. It's going to be better. They're amazing. But I think that's it, guys. I think we're going to wrap this bad boy up. I don't know what else to say, and I got to get going. I got things to do. It's already getting late. I started late today, but I'm glad that you guys joined me. I'm glad that you guys hung out with me today. By the way, before I go, look, please, guys, check out, if you guys want to hang out with me some further, please go on ahead and check out my my other channels. Again, look, I linked everything here. Okay, so I got the channels here on the website, but on my sorry, what was I gonna say? But anyways, here are my channels. All right, we got Cooking with Jose. All right, Cooking con Jose. So again, I've uploaded a few videos there. You know, I just uploaded my first recipe in the new kitchen. You know, just some chicken, but whatever. And then we got Jose Unleashed. You know, which is behind the scenes. All right, so if you guys want to see more of basically everything I do, but just behind the scenes, check out that channel. Okay, we got a bunch of videos that we've uploaded there, and hope you guys are enjoying it. It seems like you guys are checking it out. So please go check out those two channels. Again, we got, you know, I just uploaded a video yesterday on both channels, and I've been uploading videos. So please go on ahead and check those out, and hopefully you guys enjoy that, so you guys can see again more of behind the scenes and more of my life and all that good stuff. But again, these two channels are very different. So, you know, Jose Unleashed is just like a vlog, my life, whatever. And then the cooking videos, you know, cooking channel is just cooking stuff. We're going to be doing all kinds of different cooking things on there. So just stay tuned, check it out. And then on this channel, you know, sorry, on the Mexico channel here, you know, well, you already know, we're just going to continue doing what we do on this channel, all right? So I really hope you guys are enjoying everything so far. The new direction that we're moving in, because again, it's already mid-January. In fact, it's almost February, and you know, we've already been doing a lot. You know, I mean, at least on my end, I've already done a lot, accomplished a lot, and we're just getting started. So, but we're moving in the different direction. I mean, not completely. Again, you know, on this channel, we're basically kind of keeping the same direction for many things, but we're also doing new stuff on this channel, as you guys have already seen. And again, my main focus for 2026 is, what was it, guys? What was it? It was no viewer left behind. All right, so that's my main focus going forward, is no viewer left behind. For anyone out there that wants to get out of Dodge, that wants to get out of the USA, Canada, you just wants to get out, like the movie Get Out, and just want to get out, listen, I got you. All right, I got you. So that's what we're going to be focusing on this year going forward. And then on the other channels, it's just pure entertainment. Because I got tired of talking about politics and all that stuff. It's just, it's just an argument with everybody, you know, about everything. So I don't care. You know, so I'm just going into entertainment mode, having fun mode, doing what I really want to do mode. And same thing with the cooking. You know, we're going to talk about cooking. All right. You know, I would rather get in a fight over onions, all right, than over political discourse. All right. So if you guys want to go over there and share your opinions on your favorite onion, you know, let's do that. Okay. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. We're going to wrap this bad boy up. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging out with me. And that's it, guys. You already know the deal. You know, we're going to, you know, every single Sunday, I'm uploading a video here on the channel. Every Tuesday. So I'm still trying to upload as much as I can here on the channel. So again, I'll see you Sunday, I'll see you Tuesday, and most definitely see you on Thursday. I can never get away from these live streams. You guys love these live streams, and well, I love them too. So I'll see you guys every single Thursday here live, and I'll see you guys here on Sunday, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and I'll see you guys randomly on the other channels. Okay, please hit the bell icon on the other channel so that way when I do upload a video, if you guys are interested in it, you guys can watch it. So, all right, guys, as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and you already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more important than anything else, please stay awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I see you guys on the next one.